What's up, people? Welcome to another hot episode of Pop Radio. My name is Miss Cosmo, and as you can see, I'm rolling solo for the first time ever, but I guess it is also because we want to pay homage for Women's Month. So we're going to be featuring some females this month on the Popcast as well as on Pop Radio. And today I am going to be featuring someone extra special for our episode. I am talking about Miss Gigi Lamayne. She's going to chat to us just a little bit about her journey, where she's gone, where she's coming from, her music. She's dropped a brand new album called Mermaids and stuff, so we're going to jump into that in a moment. But of course, how do we start off Pop Radio? We have a little bit of a powwow with regards to some artists that I think you need to check out. And from a female perspective, what I really love about females within the hip-hop space is that they always kind of have this thing of wanting to work together, even in the beginning, also even when they're at the top. And we'll hear from Gigi, obviously, just to make sure why she has certain females on her album. But the youngsters that I want you to check out right now is a girl by the name of Blue K. She hails all the way from Cape Town. She's a young girl. She must be 17, still in high school, but her raps already are very, very hot. I like some of the songs that she sent to me. I've played a couple of her music as well on radio, and I think she's definitely got something. Obviously, still honing her sound, still kind of growing within her space. She featured a young lady by the name of Mia Lee on her track called Noah. So I do think that's one song that you can kind of go and check out and see how they kind of spar each other on that song. It's a trap song. It's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of vibe as well. And I do think Blue K and Mia Lee will definitely be girls that we need to look out for in the foreseeable future. And of course, you know how the ladies come through with the energy and the vibes. As soon as they're done with high school, they're going to take over. All right, so we're going to jump straight into our conversation and our chat with Gigi Lamayne right here on Pop Radio. What up, though? So we finally have our guest in the building. Oh, is this what you're looking for? I
was trying to do my own.
We're here, we're equipped. Yes. When it comes to Pop Radio, we make sure that we give you what you want.
Yes, girl.
Especially when you're popping.
Am I popping?
You definitely are popping, especially if you're going to be here on Pop Radio. Welcome, Miss Gigi.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Cosmo.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. I'm happy to be chatting to you, especially on a little bit of a personal level. Obviously, we've had a lot of conversations together in the past, but, you know, new times, new era, new things happen, new conversations, new stories, which is what we're going to try and get from you today, of course. And obviously, in the spirit of Women's Month, we are doing a little girl-on-girl chat.
Yes. Absolutely. I feel so honored.
Yes. Yes. All right, so Ms. Gigi, obviously you've been somebody who's been in the game for a long time. And I wouldn't necessarily throw you in the OG's box as yet.
Yes.
Because I don't think we could get to the point where you are OG's box. I need to, you are still under 35 of vaccinated. So so vaccinated, I want that. But your career kind of spans way longer, much longer than a lot of people, because you actually started out very, very young. What was it at that point when you actually decided to get into the game that made you say, I want this thing, I want hip hop?
It was easy. Just getting into studio and rapping, for me, that was the biggest thing. And just feeling like there is no voice. Like, it's great that we have all these women in videos, but they're just super passive. There's nobody coming out and telling our stories. And for me, that was the biggest thing. I remember having a chat with the late pro, and he was just like, you know, it's great with someone doing different, but hip hop, I feel like it doesn't have to be, it almost feels as if everything is subpar, you know, and we need a girl that will be able to go against the guys any day, whether it's in a freestyle, a cypher, or just like writing in studio. And I guess that's where I really started like pushing. And of course the like conversation started, and I was just like, in order to make myself different, that was something that I'd pull out once in a while, you know, almost as my Excalibur. And I just found myself in music. To be honest, it was like a huge, like, it came from nowhere, hey, because my initial plan was that I was going to finish at Wits, get my usual 9 to 5. And then the library loans happened, and there was this beverage company there, and they were doing this huge competition that I entered along with a dance crew called Supreme I, and we won, and everything else was history.
Really?
Yeah.
So, no, but you can't say that it just happened out of the blue. Surely at some point you had like a little poetry book. There was something that you were just like, yo, this is my thing now.
Yeah.
Because you don't just jump on the lawns and freestyle as if you didn't know.
Absolutely. I did. I think it was like this very like secret thing. Like, even if I didn't make it, it's fine. But I'd like to make it, you know? So I would enter competitions and I would like compete. But that was not the first. I would be lying if I said that was the first thing I wanted to do. I think it was only until, you know, Ice Cream happened, and then I came back from winning in Miami, Nabomaporis and Nobab Oskido, where it was like, wow, this song is like really big.
Yeah.
And then you're getting the eyes at Varsity and you're like, yo, Bella, I'm the gal, you know?
Yes.
And then that's when I was like, you know what, I'll sing Kotele to Kribes and yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes. But before Ice Cream kind of rolled up, you had been pushing for a while, because I think I had heard of you way before then. You were obviously within, I wouldn't necessarily call it the deep hip hop scene, but a lot of the guys had given you a little bit of respect, especially from the back to the city guys were also obviously helping you through. You had signed to somebody like Upro Kid when he had his label back in the day. MFE was obviously legendary from that perspective. With your growth, with how you had kind of worked these different stages of your life, how did you feel to actually kind of get to a point where you were like, okay, I need to start making music for myself? Because you've worked with the likes of MFE. You then moved over to Dream Team, where you worked with Refile Ramukhas as well as Kuli, obviously getting you on. Moving from there to going to like the likes of Ambitious. How was that? All of those different journeys kind of built you to be who you are today?
I think I learned different things. For one, you know, MFE was really about the craft, you know, just getting into hip hop. And I remember when I did the split, there was like backlash. I'm not even going to lie. There was backlash, you know, from people underground who just felt like, she's selling out. But for me, it was like, I'd be lying if I didn't say I listened to Lauryn Hill and Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim and Foxy and the Bratz and MC Lyte. Like, that would be a lie, you know, that I didn't listen to Mshoza. And I wasn't going to neglect the fact that I wanted to become a superstar. Yeah. Like, I wanted to get on stage. I wanted to have dances. I wanted, and the underground hip hop space, you know, no offense to the culture and where I come from, but it wasn't going to allow me to grow into becoming this artist that eventually performed in India, eventually went to the States to represent at Ultra Miami.
Did you feel stuck?
I did.
Yeah.
I felt very stuck, and I felt like I needed to look boyish, and I felt like, and when you're listening to Lil Kim, you don't really want, like, sometimes you want to put on a nice bikini, and I mean, like, sometimes, you know, and I also had a problem with that there were just so many boundaries for female hip-hop artists, and those boundaries still exist now, although they're a little bit more subtle, you know. So shout out to people like Nadia Nakai who go out there and she's just like, yo, I am going to embrace this is what it is, take it or leave it. But for me, I think the biggest issue was that I just wanted to become a superstar. When I met Refile understood the business, you know, and I was willing to learn, and he was willing to teach me. So I learned. Even now, like, if I've got I call him and I'm just like, yo, I got this happening, please can you help me, you know. So shout out to him for that. And then moving on to Ambitious, I'm not even gonna lie, I said this before and I'll say it again, the person in charge there has an absolutely immaculate ear for music, like undisputed. I know that there are other talks around artists and, you know, money and everything else, but the one thing I'll never take away from him is what he can do to an artist in studio. Like, he would sit with me. I remember when we released Ipupo, the whole night, you know, writing, and he's a writer as well. He's a writer as well.
Really?
You know, so yes, he's a writer. And he taught me how to, like, the fundamentals of music. So as much as, you know, the relationship fell through because the contract was done, but also because, like, I understood the music side, the business side that I was taught before, it was difficult for me to stay in that situation. But then when I left, in hindsight, I realized that, wow, this guy actually, like, taught me how to sing. This guy taught me how to, you know, there's so many things where he's just like, why aren't you doing this? Believe in yourself. Jump into other genres if you want to. How are you going to grow if you remain this yippee yay hip hop girl? Like, expand. And I think Fufa, which is one of the biggest songs of my career, which isn't hip hop, I would completely like give to him and say, if it wasn't for you, I wasn't even gonna try and do that. So
yeah. So it's obviously a lot of growth that has come through, especially with the different labels, the different experiences.
Absolutely.
But I think the one that's been highlighted the most, which you've also just kind of touched on, was you being out at Ambitious. And I know people have kind of hopped on about this many times when you've spoken about it, but obviously your experience in there is not what people had kind of portrayed on social media, and everybody was kind of making their own assumptions as to what exactly was happening there, what was being said to you, what was being forced upon you. Did you at any point feel a little uncomfortable when you were at Ambitious? Because some people think that's why you left.
Absolutely. Like I wanted to make money, you know. Sometimes Cosmo, the person who makes the most money, is not the most famous, you know. And the things that I wanted to do the Gigi Gang show. I wanted to do, there's certain things that they just didn't understand business wise that I wanted to do. They just there wasn't any sense of belief in the fact that I could do the Gigi Gang show. Yes, we weren't going to bring out the numbers in the first year, maybe not even the second year, but eventually we were going to grow to a point where we were going to see that stuff coming. We were going to see the ROI. And I guess for him, it was kind of like, yeah, but we've got like 2 major male hip-hop acts, and you know, it's kind of like, let's focus on them because they make sense and they're more lucrative right now. And I think that's where the kind of split happened, where it was just like, then you don't believe in me, you know, then I need to. And in South Africa, I was never going to find anyone who was going to believe in me the way I believed in myself. So I think where I am right now is just like, I built up the team I have. Some people have brand experience. Some people have A&R experience. And I put them together and it's working for me.
Yeah, and that's all you can do at that point, because I think you also kind of need to say, okay, am I going to take charge of my career? Am I going to kind of sing my own praises without somebody kind of doing that? Just the last point to touch on with that experience. Obviously, there was also just a lot of hearsay that was happening, like I mentioned, on social media, which a normal human being... which everybody is obviously, those things can get you down. A lot of things that was said on social media and the type of bad energy that was spewing on social media was also just, at some point where I would kind of look at, be like, yo, people are like cold-hearted. Yo. Abantu, I don't know, you just sit there with your QWERTY keyboards and it's, hey,
you know what?
How did you get through something like that? Because I don't think it's easy for anybody to kind of come out of a space where you're being bashed, for lack of a better word, on social media, where some people would be too weak to then say, okay, I'm going to rise above this and be myself.
I don't even think I feel anymore. You know, I came into the industry as not conventionally. I mean, there's so many things that I've been termed. I've heard not conventionally pretty. And then at some point, you know, there was the whole, oh, she's not using the fact that she's in academic to her advantage. I'm like, how? When that's got nothing to do with when that's got nothing to do with the industry and how people move to. So it was always like criticism. But I realized it was based on the fact that I wasn't the conventional female hip hop artist. If you are somebody who likes to read books, you're not allowed to be naked. In South Africa, you can't be reading books and then naked. For some reason, it just doesn't go along. So I really understood that I was a hybrid and I needed to be able to shine in that. And to be honest, I just don't feel the way I used to feel anymore. You know, I don't know if it's growth or developing a thick skin or speaking to people who have thick skins, but it's just completely just, I don't know. I get worried sometimes. You know that movie about how like they remove your brain and then you can't feel.
Oh, you don't have this emotion.
I'm struggling. Like I'm either laughing or like I hardly feel emotion, but I think it's because I went through the emotions and now it's like, it's dead. And no, I'm not on antidepressants. No, I'm not smoking anything. I'm not taking anything either.
Yeah.
Did
you go through therapy?
No.
Really?
But I did go through a spiritual awakening, definitely.
Okay.
And when I came back, I was very different, man. Like I just view everything is nice, guys, as long as we want it to be nice.
Yes.
And I think now I entertain that. You know, there are times where you'll read stuff off of social media, but it doesn't land the weight. Sometimes I even want to say, hi, show me. Make it like, is that all you have?
Yeah.
Come on, make it
more.
worse. Give me more. And it's just, yes, I'm feel guys. Now my boyfriend am I complain true.
Ooh, ama plural. Not one, but many. Which one are you in the Obviously, okay, well, you've just mentioned something that I also wanted to touch on, Guti uhambe wayo twasa, which was obviously something you also kind of needed to go through at a specific point in your life, not necessarily in your career. And a lot of the times your life experiences will obviously then kind of talk through into your music. But there's also just a lot of stigmas that kind of come in with regards to black spirituality, that come into uktwasa, that come into where society kind of views it from point blank without understanding it. I know, obviously, because they do say that you're not really supposed to speak about your experience, of course, but you're allowed to kind of just touch on what it means to you to have gone through that.
Yes.
Did you also go through the whole I'm fighting before I actually accept that I need to do this thing? And how do you think it's kind of changed you as a person?
I think I didn't know I was fighting. I think so with everything that was happening, like I didn't know I was fighting, and then something happened to me, and then like they call it ukuphuthuma ngaya. Like there's something that happens that I can't with the quickness. There's this thing they know, like where it just happened to me and I knew it was happening, and then it was and this thing had always been in our lineage, like it's always been there, paternally and maternally. So I just never thought it would be me, you know. I'm the girl who went to model sing, like, you know,
you guys who twang, who don't speak, you know, at home.
And they used to call me model C, funny enough, like model C, model C. So I think for me, that was like that awakening, sort of like set the standard for a lot of other things. I definitely didn't come back the same. I think a lot of people around me realized that I didn't come back the same way. But I knew that coming back, there were going to be stigmas, you know. I've heard one guy celebrity twice.
Yes. Can you touch on that a little bit? Because obviously you've been very vocal about your journey. Yes. Did you also feel as though people were kind of then saying that everybody's going through this? What's going on? Is it a trend?
But on a serious note though, I think if not us, then who? I say that because if you've got millions, hundreds of thousands of followers, and you can influence the way people look at something, of course, of course, they're going to bring out one of their soldiers who can reach out to more people. And for us, it's not a fight to convert. It's for you to learn who you are and where you're from and understand your powers. I think for us, that's the biggest thing. We've been oppressed by so many different things, you know. I even... You know, the biggest thing for me is about sexuality and the pride community, and that African spirituality accepts that. But when you tap into other religions, they've got a problem with it. You sit in certain places and they'll tell you this is right and this is wrong. So for me already, just something as subtle as that, I felt that is the community I belong to, because there's so much more acceptance. There's so much more, like they won't say hlala phansi ungasa rap. You know, for them it's a rap, but don't forget unendumba yakho somewhere. So for me, just being able to do that and bringing those worlds together, and I mean, so many times I was approached by people in the industry, you know, who told me,
and you ignored it.
I'm not good to mom. I'm like, mommy, these people. I got a church. You know? And then when everything started happening, I'm a family secret, Puma. We are humble.
Yeah. But then there's also that conversation, as you've just said, that when you go to church, but there's that conversation around not being able to, or not connecting the two, and where does church and spirituality kind of come in together when they actually can work in unison?
Absolutely.
Explain how that kind of works together, because I think some people are still very confused, if you don't mind me asking.
Yes, absolutely. Unkulunkulu velinqangi, the creator, abadala, messengers. So abadala, we view them as messengers. You speak to them to speak to God, you speak to God to strengthen them. So they work differently, but still it's not what amadlozi are above uvelinqangi, the creator, because the creator created them, and we are all aware of that. And then of course there is us. I still go to church. I take what I do from it and I leave what I don't know behind. And for me, you know, I how do I say, I only find relativity in what is about, you know, common human law. If I'm not hurting you, I'm not hurting myself, I'm not hurting anyone else. For me, that's the most important thing. The minute I begin to hurt you through my beliefs and my opinions and wanting to put you up against, Ms. Cosmo, you will believe in Abatala, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it works. Kunabatala, there's so many different terms. Ithunywa, you know, your guardians, abadala bakho, and then there's Uvelinqangi, the creator. Still there. We just call him Uvelinqangi, and that's equivalent to God.
Yeah. And obviously that also comes with different types of thinking with regards to who you are, how you're supposed to represent yourself, how you're supposed to represent your spirituality. But then that also kind of ties in with how people also kind of viewed you even on social media, where they said, no, people are forcing Gigi to kind of look a certain way. They're changing her appearance. And then at one end, they'll also then say, okay, but are you allowed to dress like this? Because now when I saw Twasile, 1, 2, 3, how does that all kind of come together for you in your head? Are you still very much Angnandaba, or is it a case of I'm still being me, even though I'm putting everything together?
I am them, they are me.
And you weren't forced, correct?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wasn't. How do you mean? I was forced by certain places I was signed at to look a certain way.
Yes, that's
but
what
now. It's definitely me. Like everything you guys see me posting, me na loyal. I feel like I'm of age to do certain things.
Yes.
You mean nje. But also it's about the fact that if ungakayi entwasweni ungazitshela ukuthi kumele sigqoke kanjani. For instance, there are certain clothes, and I remember receiving a call from someone saying, "Hi gogo phela, the way uhleli ngakhona, hayi leyo by delete leyo nto ngayidelete," because at that point in time I didn't realize ukuthi angisahloniphi ibhayilele bengiligqokile. But if I'm in my natural elements, akumelanga ukuthi ningisabe seningibona ngigqizile and I look scary, and it's like in front of people. Amadlozi, they work very differently, and for me it's that if in order ukuthi ngikulaphe, you need to feel comfortable with me. Understand? We need to go to the club together. We need to be able to discuss things. Then you can come to me one day and say, yo, gee, I've been having these weird dreams. It's so much easier, I feel, when people are the same. When you relate to someone, it's easier to help them. And I think that's where the new age of thinking is for Izangoma now. I think we're all saying, guys, we don't need to change. Like, we can be out here, but obviously there are things that I can't do anymore. You know, like lots of things I can't do.
But it's part of life, I guess. It's also part of growth. At the end of the day, with age comes you know, a newness that comes of yourself as well. I remember actually speaking to you over the weekend, and you were telling me about how you were actually writing a couple of songs while you were still initiating. So talk to me about how your life changes have also kind of influenced your music, which is obviously where we're going to jump into the album as well.
I'm so big on Black history now, guys. Credo Mutwa, Steve Biko, Sosobala himself. There's so many unsung, you know, we have one of the most powerful female rulers in world history, Cleopatra. We've got Hatshepsut, you know.
Is that what influenced the tattoo?
Yes, actually, that's what influenced. That is Cleopatra. And if Cleopatra, no Julius Caesar.
Oh my gosh.
And she had the African empire, he had the Roman empire. So they had a baby together. That baby basically ruled the world, but the baby was killed in Rome anyway at 17. But what I'm trying to say is there's so many unsung African leaders, and none of us are telling those stories in cool ways. You don't need to, I almost mentioned somebody's name, but you don't have to be like deep and I'm from a town, you know, to try and reach out. I feel like as creatives, this is the point, and I remember Blackie and I were having this conversation about, you know, we need to find cool ways of educating young people about where they come from. It doesn't have to be so lyrical and heavy and dark, and, you know, and I remember you and I were talking about how there are people now Googling this Sosobala character, you know, now reading with Haibo, this man, he put money with paper. How did he, you know, things like that. And for me, I think the biggest thing right now is African history, cultural preservation. Let's be proud about where we come from and who we are. And it's not on a shallow level. It's how can you be proud of who you are? As my work sisters now, I know who pora. Am I not still African? Like, am I not still African? Mina, this is an accessory. This is an accessory. I haven't changed racial groupings or anything. For me, it's something so much deeper, and it's understanding that there's a legacy that needs to carry on. And as, you know, Imbongi, rappers, whatever you are in hip hop, DJs, whatever, you have an obligation to preserve your culture.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hip hop, but don't forget where you come from. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing that came from my journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. But obviously that also kind of influenced the new album. So
Yes.
Mermaids and Stuff is out. It dropped in July. Talk to me a little bit about the title of the album.
Yeah.
How, girl? People are obviously going to ask.
Okay, let me give the diplomatic answer.
No, give the truth. We don't want we don't want diplomacy here, please. Wow.
But it was basically about, you know, mermaids as mystical creatures who are able to survive different environmental changes, you know, whether it's the crashing of tides, whether it's the stillness of water, whether there's a big ass whale trying to swallow you, whatever it is. Somehow mermaids just get through it. So like every movie we've ever watched, if you guys have watched Sirens, if you guys have watched Little Mermaid, somehow they always just manage to conquer. And I think for me, that was that. It was speaking about the zero to hero of Gigi and how I came from, you know, record labels. I heard a lot of things that I wasn't gonna, hey, where's Gigi Lamayne? Gigi's falling off. Gigi. And I made sure what's in 19 tracks later, 2 years later, feeling you now so I feel like I likened myself to mermaids in the sense that I have survived my own tides, I have survived my own struggles, and I think a lot of us have. And it's always about the bounce back, and I revel in my bounce back. I'm not even done yet. It's like I feel 21 again. Like, you know, like I feel that energy again.
Aging
I feel like
backwards.
I'm 20. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
I love that. So of course, 19 tracks. The album obviously is something that you had been working on for a while, and 19 songs is a lot. And I say this in the sense that in 2021 we're consuming content so quickly. Everybody's dropping every Friday. You're competing with so many genres, but you're also then trying to get the attention of the people who must listen and decipher your lyrics over and above, enjoying the song and going back and listening to it again. Did you not feel that you kind of had a pressure to kind of keep the album a little bit more content as opposed to having a full track 19 album?
You know, the problem now is that I'm already in studio after the 19 songs. Remember we spoke.
She doesn't stop rapping. Yes, if there's someone who wants to out-rap everyone in the game.
So, I just felt that after 2 years, people deserved it. Like, Tatan, you know, take what you can, like, choose whatever you want, and just let it flow. If more comes, it comes. And I'm already so upset because even some of the little, like those songs that we didn't think people were going to even notice, people are talking about. And that's what I wanted. And I think it's because I've been quiet for so long. So when it finally came, everyone was just like, yo, finally, like, Saguzwa. And then I feel like the industry yonke ngaba line up one by one. Ngabanikeza ama number. Ngathi wonke umuntu no number 7. Nadia wasondel, Nomus wasondel, Shoma Chelsea, Blacklist cover, all of you on my album. And so shout out to them as well, man. It wasn't easy putting it together, but
I was about to say, hey, you know, hip hop these days, you need to ask them like 10 working days in advance to confirm whether you come into studio.
Yo, ma'am, I didn't need to throw a pry. I didn't need to like ask Abatala to make Nadia like Maya. I got her verse in like the next day. So I asked her in the morning today, and then the next day in the evening she had sent it. Nadia as well, it like took her less than a week. I was very fortunate. The only person who took kind of long was Blackie, but that is because he was like the last feature on the album. And I think he was away. I think he was in Durban or something like that. And we were strict. We wanted to be in studio together. So he's the only one who took long. But it was just so weird how everything worked out.
Did you also get the feeling that working with a lot of, because you've also got a lot of females on the album, a lot of female features, which I think is really dope.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
just to kind of put on some of the girls who are trying to get their come up, but also the established ones to show the sisterhood of hip hop. Did you also feel like the girls actually like came to the party much quicker than the guys?
A lot, like the girls, like Muzi was there. I'ma have Spooda rock, like She even did 2 songs and then we chose the one. But
Yeah.
the girls were just like, it was, and the weird thing is, Muzi recorded, I think, on the Tuesday, right? And then Nadia recorded on the Thursday.
Yeah.
So it was just like, everybody was like back to back with the girls. The girls we were done with. Yeah. Black Les.
Yeah. You will chase the men in this industry. You will chase the men in this industry for features. And I'm saying this because I've experienced it. Because I've done female collaborations where the songs happen in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then you try and chase a guy to come into studio and you'll chase him for 6 months before he even sends you 2 lines.
But to be fair, Black Les wanted to record where he was, and
why?
There was some logistic, like there was breakdown communication. What do we say nowadays? Yeah,
I don't know. I call it an excuse, but anyway, you know, as long as he sent it, that's all that matters. And as long as you know, and that song is beautiful. Heritage is a beautiful song with Kaboma. I really enjoyed that as well. But yeah, so the album is obviously something that you have poured your heart and soul into. Are you getting the reaction that you wanted out of it?
You know, with doing, especially with the Pan-African features, so we have Rosary, she's from Tanzania, like the biggest, like, she's amazing, like, wow. And we have Iffy as well from Nigeria. We have Stanley now from Cameroon. And some of them are emerging artists and some of them are already established. But for me, the biggest thing was to reach out, to reach out musically. South Africa has been great, but I want to go out now. And that's exactly what's been happening. And I'm so happy that, now that things have started opening up again in the country, we're having inquiries from out there. Collaborations are coming through as well. And that's what I just want to do, Ms. Cosmo. I want to work with like different people who are going to teach me different things. I think because I'm such an eclectic creative, I get bored very easily. So I'm just happy that was the first thing I wanted to accomplish. And that's what's happening right now. So yeah, I just think the songs we thought were gonna do well is kind of like switched. Like Sosobala with Shoma Josie is like, before we even, it was like there. Yeah. And we have actually got a very huge surprise for people for Women's Month to do with that song.
Oh, dope. Shout
really
out.
Excited about
okay,
that
well,
one.
hopefully we'll be able to obviously follow you and see exactly what that surprise is. Yeah. But the one single that's doing really well right now on the charts is Feeling You with Mikasa and Blackie. Yeah. Now, the first time I heard the song, I was very like, hi, okay, this collaboration, which one is what's happening?
Festival lineup.
It's like, but what's going on here? And then I heard it and I was blown away because it's something different. Like I'm always trying to see what else people can give me. I don't like the streamline, everybody sounding the same, everybody wants to be Lil Baby type situation. Like give me something that I can be excited about. And I think that's exactly what the song did. But it's done that for the rest of South Africa as well because it's done so well on Radio Monitor.
I never thought as an independent female hip hop artist I'd ever reach #1 across the country, guys.
Yes.
Yes. Running.
Yes.
No, it was amazing. I even posted a video online. I thank people, multiple charts it's been coming up. And once again, thank you to Mikasa because that already was a hit in itself. Yeah. So trying to reignite that and for them to say, we're actually trying to, but we don't know how to. And we sat with somebody at Ingrooves, like the main man, Mr. Galakis, and he helped us on stage, and it was so, the dynamics was so tricky because as I told you, we had Ox Cable there, and then we have Chris Galakis who did what are some of the biggest, I mean he did some of the biggest for
legendary music,
Brenda, Fassie, and then now he's sitting here with us. So I'd really like to, actually we need to find that picture of Ox Cable and Chris sitting there, and it was like 2 generations coming together to create Feeling You. And for me, that was the story, being at school, going to school in a taxi, listening to Mikasa one day, and then being on a song with them. Ox Cable, listening to some of those things growing up, and being on studio with Chris. So, Feeling You, guys.
It's a beautiful song. But did you think that you were going to put those 2 artists on that song together, Mikasa and Blackie? Completely different.
Because Blackie and I had been going through songs, and then Blackie was like, let's do this one. I was like, nah. He was like, no, let's do that one. And he killed it.
Yeah,
Like, he's phenomenal, guys.
It's an amazing feature, and I really can't wait to actually see how the video is going to come together, because I do think people need to hear it a little bit more. And you did mention that it's also kind of panning out to the rest of the world. Who else is picking up the song?
Brazil.
Yeah.
People who speak Espanol, is Lola Mendoza, you know. So I'm really excited because, like I said, I've had this infatuation with like the Queen of the South, Narcos, that movement. And then, you know, when that song played, I thought casino, money, and just like
opulence.
Yes, and it's like world music. And we shot it out, and then, like I'm shocked, especially Brazil, Spain. We've picked up, I'm actually on my way to Turkey.
Yeah!
Yes, girl. Y'all should see my pictures. I'm going to make sure at this trip there.
Of course you are.
This trip. As well as, you know, the UK as well. So I'm really excited. As I said, the main goal was to go out, and that's what we've done. And, you know, I've always underestimated myself, but I think for the very first time, I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. Yeah. And then it happened.
Yeah. Sometimes you also just have to put the positive energy out there and wait for it to kind of then come back, as opposed to forcing for something to happen. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So you're definitely getting organic energy out of it, which is really awesome. You've also worked on a couple of other things, and not necessarily only just on the album. Obviously, we're excited about the new music, but you've still got your foundation.
Yes.
You still got your side businesses. Where do you find the time?
Yeah,
What else do you have on your schedule besides Gigi Lamayne, the superstar?
I sell sex toys as well.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I had no idea.
I sell sex toys, man.
Say what? Girl.
I sell sex toys. Like, you guys should also go check out that page. It's called At Le Jardin.
I knew she was an entrepreneur, but I really didn't expect it.
I want to cater to the female holistically.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Yes.
So even
what's your bestseller? Can I get a sample?
There's like this one, it's like this, and then it's got the thing there. So this part that goes in, and
you're confusing all the boys right now.
So it's what the finger and the what do at the same time.
Oh wow.
It's amazing. I tell you. That's like our bestseller.
Idea.
You get it in pink, purple, blue, and white. But I don't know whites, guys. Pink, blue, and purple. Like, yeah.
When did you start this business? I'm so shocked. Look, you know what?
During lockdown.
You know what? I'm intrigued. I'm actually very happy for you. I just didn't expect it.
During lockdown.
Why?
I just wanted. It was more about like women. You know, guys. There's something about when a guy asks to see you. I don't know how sexually balanced you. I don't wanna assume that with
when
you.
they call you, do you wanna come over and Netflix and chill?
And then, you know, if you're going to do the things you'll think properly. I think with guys it's also like that. So me, before a guy calls me out, I do the things so that I can think properly, so that I don't make stupid decisions tomorrow and then sex tape or something weird.
Yes.
Like, you know,
you're
I can think
protecting yourself.
This guy, is he really, really orange lambile? So I was like, you know what, let me start Le Jardin. It's locked down. I don't have to be sneaking around. Do dang, and then you can think properly about everything you do, Miss Cosmo.
I promise you. Gigi, you have blown me away today.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
I was trying to talk about the holistic Gigi. She was going to talk about her foundation, talk about pushing other things, you know, business, t-shirts, sex toys. Here's my girl.
Shout out to Moonchild. Moonchild always like puts me on also. Like, she always puts me on. There's this one that did you see that one?
Moonchild does a lot of things. That girl, you see, she's the one person I don't expect anything. I just let it happen.
Yeah.
So with you, I think I didn't think it would go that far, but I'm proud of you. I will say I'll support the business. No doubts.
I'll send you a sample.
I'll come back with a review on the Popcast. Make sure you check it out. Okay. Outside of that business, you've also got other businesses.
Yes.
What else are you still running with at the moment?
I'm still running with the other stuff outside of hip hop, like just logistics, things like that.
Yeah.
But there's something very special happening with the foundation now.
Yeah.
And shout outs to, I'm going to announce it here exclusively because that's where I actually came from now. And we were sorting that out. And we're going to be giving a bursary away to one lucky lady. So all people need to do is basically just, but they'll see how to do it. They just need to tune into my Instagram.
Nice.
And we'll be giving a bursary away to a lady who would like to learn how to do nails and is valued at 30,000 Rand. So I'm really, really excited about that. And that's courtesy of the Gigi Lamayne Foundation as well. So it's just things like that. If it just makes sense and it's about a young girl who's probably lost her job or somebody who's never even been employed or given a chance, I look for those opportunities and I try to give them to you. I think my mom is like the perfect example of umuntu osizai without expecting anything in return. And I just want to keep that alive for her sake. It just makes me feel good when I see Ubuntu in action coming from a woman, because we were never always put in a position to be able to help each other. You know, I remember Angela Davis once saying, it's one thing to be black, but it's another thing to be a black woman.
Yeah.
You know, you're at the bottom of society. So if I can rise above it all and empower another woman, I'm down for it.
Yes. And I know your relationship with your mom is actually one of your favorite conversations to have, but also she's been like your ride or die. She's been the person who has been with you from the very, very beginning. How does it, I know a lot of artists kind of have this tug of war relationship with their parents, where it's like, I want to be an artist, and they're like, go and be a doctor. How special was it for you to kind of grow up with somebody who'd be able to be there for you through thick and thin, and be able to take you to gigs as well as support you business-wise?
Yo, you know that lady ngizomshada in our next life.
How?
Ngimthanda numa wami, guys. I think I'm one of like very few people who have that. You know, every time I speak to people, especially in the hip-hop community, and I hear about the things they had to do to like be taken seriously, to be supported, like it really scares me. And I think I always say, like, God, that's the one thing you got right. You gave me a mom who is able to like believe in me so much that I believe in myself. And I wish I understood. It's almost as if they grow older. As they grow older, you appreciate them more, you know, because you understand that this person's not going to have that much, like every day, you know. So I really, really try to spend as much time as I can with her. And I've made her proud, but I want to make her more proud. Dope. I think she's like my best friend. She's the usual guys. I'm a pillar, I'm a rock, but you know, she's the person who's also headmaster. Like get up, fix yourself, carry on. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. And I think, like I said, I've seen how she's always been your rock, and it's dope to kind of see you guys are still kind of pushing forward together. Very beautiful relationship that we see with the two of you. One last thing before we actually kind of wrap things up. Gigi Gang Show, when is it coming back? Because I know you did a virtual one last year. Are you going to do the stadium again, or what's the vibe?
The format has changed quite a lot. Based on something once again, I felt like if I'm not helping, then what's the point? It's great to have the show, and it will carry on in its own right, but there's an extension of it now that has got a lot to do with giving back to the community. So people can check that out, and I'm so glad that things have opened now, because we can continue, you know, finishing that up. But it will all make sense. But #Gigi Gang Show is definitely coming back, but they're just two different sides of it now. You know, but it's still about women empowerment and putting women on and just looking great and fixing each other's crowns.
That's beautiful. All right. So what else can we kind of look forward to for 2021? Where else is Gigi kind of taking herself to? Outside of going overseas, because clearly...
Like, I just want to travel. So people can expect to like just catch up with me on digital. Just want to do amazing things, meet some amazing young people like me who are just doing things with their lives, you know. I think I've just gotten to a point where like there's just more to life than, you know, the typical PR rollouts and doing this way. And I just want to experiment now and go out and do amazing things. But there definitely is a new project coming up. It is being A&R'd by somebody absolutely amazing. He's worked with Brenda, he's worked with Davido, he's worked with There's somebody I'm forgetting. He's worked with P Squared.
Nice.
He's absolutely amazing. So I'm really trying to do world music right now and stretch myself. But the most important thing is to make sure that hip hop is still a core element when it comes to that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't have been possible for the amazing team I have. You know, people who just so beyond. And you know, I was a very timid artist. You know, I struggled with even talking and stage frights and just like anxiety kicking through the roof. So it's great that I'm in this place right now where I know who I am and I know what I want to do and I know what kind of music I want to make.
And you don't care what people say.
Yes,
you know, suffering that bazuthina abantu syndrome will get you down.
For real.
Really?
For real.
Oh, beautiful, man. Okay, so Gigi, we're going to get into a little bit of a fun game.
Yes.
Just to, you know, kind of break the ice a little bit. Gotta get my questions.
Just in case. It's getting hot now. Carol, do you trust? I don't trust the questions. Like,
no, don't worry. The questions
on the record, I'm not, like you and I, not dating guys.
Who said you were dating?
Yes, the Konamanyama rumors, guys. I fly.
Maybe you must just run with it also and see where it takes you.
I'm like, don't be yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna jump straight into a game called Who Said This?
Yes.
So I'm testing your hip hop knowledge on this one.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start very easy. And then we'll get into something a little tougher. Okay. We'll see if you listen to other people's raps. Because you know how hip-hop artists are. They only listen to their own music in the car. They don't listen to other people.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, let's go.
All right, the first one. What's going on with these amateurs over the internet posting some messages?
I don't know. Is that AK?
You're close, but it's close. It's the right song. Same song, but it's not him. Next thing you know,
your career is over. KO.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was coming together there. All right. What started out as temporary, looking hella permanent, that backwards thinking, I'm reversing it.
It's a girl, ne?
Yes.
It's Poeti.
Yes.
Shout out, Poeti.
On your throne. All right.
Yes.
7th letter of the alphabet. Real G nigga, no wagon. All facts, no capping.
Who? Nah.
I'm saying it in the Queen. I'm saying it in the Queen's English. So now she doesn't have without the accent. I'm not gonna say it the way he says it. That's why I don't rap.
South African.
Definitely.
Please.
I'll repeat it. 7th letter of the alphabet. Real G nigga, no wagon. All facts, no capping.
7th letter. Can't you guys?
And the tricky part is that you've been. Dimples is cheating. He's giving away the answers here. Dimples, I'm going to exile you from the room.
I've been looking at him just squinting.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go into just name the rapper if you know their real name. And at this point, because you've done a lot of collaborations, I'm sure you know from a publishing perspective.
Are they on my album though?
You've worked with maybe 2 of them. You've worked with 2 that I know of. I don't know about the other 2. Girl, relax.
Okay. I thought it was Barbara.
The first one.
Is it Barbara?
No. Who is this rapper? Lesego Kyle Nyandu.
Lesego. Lesego's not Aries, ne?
No.
Who is he? Litabo?
No.
Lesego light.
Lesego Kyle Nyandu.
Lesego. Ubani uBlacklist?
Sapphire what? It's Flame.
Flame's name is Lesego.
I'm suck.
All right, the next one. Spelele Mnyande.
Guys, once you guys are giving me a hard. Is it Kid X?
No. But close. Pretoria Vibes.
Uspelele Pitori.
No, yeah, Spelele is from Pretoria.
Pelele, what says Pitori, guys?
He works closely with Black Liz.
P.O. Invade. P.O. If I'm going to Pelele.
Tutuzile Ngwenya.
Lady 2.
Yeah. That one was easy. And of course, the one you know this one. Siyabonga Sibego.
Uban, Kristen. Uban. Siyabonga.
And you've worked with him because I know you featured on one of his songs.
Siyabonga.
Yes.
What is him?
Yes. DJ Capital.
No. Siyabonga.
All right, so it's your
bad.
turn to kind of get me back now. Okay. You've got a 30 seconds card there. Let me get my timer. Sorry. So
Can I do surnames only though?
No. You're going to explain what's on the card. So it's the same as 30 seconds. I have to guess.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, it's Shuzne. It's not Drip. It's the other guy. It's South African.
Batu.
Yes. Batmanting. Nini Batmanting. He's a producer. He also sings.
Gemini Major.
Yes. Okay, now. Best Shoma Chosi just won.
Best female artist.
Yes. What was that thing called? Which she won? That thing.
The Summers.
Yes. And then Ukel Vele. Aibo. Yazini, she's punishing us. She's dancing. She's dancing. Yes.
That is after time.
Shout out. Thank you so much.
To you.
That was fun.
That was awesome, man. Thank you so much, Miss Gigi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Keep on shining. Keep on spreading the love. Keep on showing yourself. And I love how you're glowing. Like, you've just got this radiance of like, I'm out here trying to shine. You've got this beautiful aura around you.
Thank you so
I think
much.
It's so awesome.
Thank you so much, Miss Cosmo.
Oh, there you have it. That is my guest, Miss Gigi Lamayne, right here on Pop Radio. What an amazing interview. I really do think that Gigi kind of left a little bit of herself in the studio after that conversation. I think you are feeling it as well, especially if you're watching. And of course, I think we've heard a lot of her story throughout the years and how she's kind of gone through certain things in a public eye. But it's dope to kind of see like her kind of rising from all of that and becoming this beautiful person who's come through with us all this beautiful music, because you do have to go and check out her album Mermaids and stuff. The features are phenomenal. That Blackie and Mikasa feature is still kind of blowing my mind away, I won't lie. Her story, and I do also think it was really awesome for her to kind of touch on how she's kind of grown spiritually, because I know there's some stigmas around that as well. And yeah, man, I think we're just going to keep on supporting Miss Gigi Lamayne. Of course, I did mention that this is Women's Month and we are going to be featuring more females here on Popcast and Pop Radio. So next week, we're going to have a female guest as well. And we're going to carry on this trend just to make sure that the women are felt within this Popcast and Pop Radio space. So check us out next week on Popcast.